When the White House hosted a meeting of sheriffs from across the country last February, President Donald Trump joked about destroying the career of a Texas state senator who supported reforms to civil asset forfeiture laws, a controversial practice where police can seize cash and property of people suspected, but in most cases never convicted or charged with a crime.
Do you want to give his name? We'll destroy his career.
So I was on the Senate floor and we were waiting to get gavelled in, and I was just kind of flipping through my Twitter, and all of a sudden I was like, what?
State Senator Connie Burton was one of many local lawmakers outraged by Trump's comments, which also made national headlines and angered plenty of state lawmakers far away from Texas, such as Pennsylvania State Senator Dalen Leach, who tweeted, "Hey, at Real Donald Trump, I oppose civil asset forfeiture too. Why don't you try to destroy my career, you fascist loofah-faced shitgibbon?" While Trump's comments were meant to support police, they've had the opposite of their intended impact. It's re-energized the push for reform.
When you give law enforcement the ability to take your property without a conviction, that's big government.
Burton is leading the campaign to reform civil asset forfeiture laws. She's a Tea Party leader from the Dallas-Fort Worth area who also happens to be pro-life and pro-borders. Burton isn't the unnamed state senator Trump offered to destroy, but she's emerged as the state's fiercest opponent of civil asset forfeiture.
We are giving law enforcement the ability to take property and keep it without a criminal conviction. It's up to the person that you have taken the property from to prove that their property has not been involved in a crime. I don't know how you prove a negative.
When she explains how these laws work to her constituents, she says they can hardly believe it.
Like, what? You know, this is going on? Yes, it's going on. This is why we need to fix it.
Last December, Burton filed legislation that would require prosecutors to obtain a criminal conviction for cops to seize property.
It takes civil asset forfeiture and makes it criminal asset forfeiture. So we don't touch seizures. Police can still seize property that they think has been involved in a crime. But for them to keep it, for it to be forfeited, you have to be convicted of a crime before they can do that.
Texas has tried for years to reform civil asset forfeiture laws after horror stories began to emerge about the practice. One of the most horrifying cases occurred in 2005, when cops took $10,000 from Javier Gonzalez, who was driving to the border town of Brownsville to make funeral arrangements for his aunt. The cops didn't find any drugs or contraband in his car, but they pressured Gonzalez to sign away his rights to the cash under the threat of a felony money laundering charge. And in 2012, the ACLU settled a class action lawsuit against the city of Tanaja, Texas, where cops illegally seized nearly $3 million from traffic stops involving mostly Black and Latino drivers. Victims were told they could either sign their cash over to the city or go to jail. Cases like this have earned Texas a D+ from the Institute for Justice for forfeiture laws. Data from the Libertarian Legal Organization shows that the state funnels an average of $41.6 million a year to local law enforcement agencies as a result of these seizures. Some of the money collected by Texas police departments goes to pay for items that have nothing to do with fighting crime.
In Texas, they bought a margarita machine. They were literally using this money as their own personal slush fund.
Everybody is ready for this to be reformed. It's either happened to them, they know somebody that it's happened to. Once they find out about what it does, you know, they're just like, why do we have this? How can this be that you have to prove your property is innocent in order to get your property back? You know, it's just upside down and antithetical to what our country should stand for.
Clarence Thomas versus Jeff Sessions on civil asset forfeiture. Asset forfeiture has led to egregious and well-chronicled abuses, Thomas writes. Damon Root, July 20, 2017, 10:45 a.m. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced this week that the Justice Department will increase the use of civil asset forfeiture, the practice that allows law enforcement officials to seize property from persons who have been neither charged with nor convicted of any crime. Civil asset forfeiture is a key tool, Sessions declared. President Trump has directed this Department of Justice to reduce crime in this country, and we will use every lawful tool that we have to do that. But civil asset forfeiture is not a lawful tool. It is an unconstitutional abuse of government power. The Fifth Amendment forbids the government from depriving any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Civil asset forfeiture turns that venerable principle on its head, allowing government agents to take what they want without the bother of bringing charges, presenting clear and convincing evidence, and obtaining a conviction in a court of law. It is the antithesis of due process. By ordering the expansion of this unconstitutional practice, Sessions has placed himself on a collision course with Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. As Thomas recently explained in a statement respecting the denial of certiorari in the case of Leonard v. Texas, not only has civil asset forfeiture led to egregious and well-chronicled abuses by law enforcement agencies around the country, but the practice is fundamentally incompatible with the Constitution. Thomas did not mince words. The legal justifications offered in defense of civil asset forfeiture, he pointed out, cannot be squared with the text of the Constitution, which presumably would require the Supreme Court to align its distinct doctrine governing civil forfeiture with its doctrines governing other forms of punitive state action and property deprivation. Those other doctrines, Thomas noted, impose significant checks on the government, such as heightened standards of proof, numerous procedural safeguards, and the right to a trial by jury. By contrast, civil asset forfeiture proceedings provide no such constitutional protections. Thomas left little doubt that when the proper case came before him, he would rule civil asset forfeiture unconstitutional. Attorney General Sessions should take Justice Thomas's words to heart.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done...
for life hating so much.
Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.